Alright, green light.
Right. This is much better. This is awesome.
Yeah, no, I love
Clarity.
the software. You can actually, the free version's like just as well too. I think I only pay like $11 a month for this one.
That's cheap.
Gives
Yeah.
me the ability to do full screen shares, file transfers. I mean, the whole 9 yards while I'm talking to the person through the computer. I mean, I literally close deals like this. This is one of the only ways I sell right now, almost.
Damn. That's awesome. This is awesome. We used to use Zoom for my MLM. This was like the main one for 100 reps.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I was like, you said Zoom. I was like, yeah, let's go for it. I took a lot of your time already. So if you want to do this really quickly.
Yeah, it's up to you. I literally kind of cleared my day-to-day. I have a pitch at 4, but I was just mainly tweaking stuff today. So if you got something to do, I don't mind hanging out a little bit.
All right, cool, awesome. Thanks so much, Dan.
Yeah.
You're an awesome guy, man. Like, I'm very glad you found me through my YouTube video.
Yeah, that was weird. It was the weirdest thing. So I was just looking up like some weird things to do, like with stacking on different Google Stack techniques. Because I have a ton of them that like I was trying so many different things at the time, and you have one YouTube video that's literally called Google Stacks, and nobody else online was calling them that at the time too. It was like there's very few. Like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about, and it was a good one too. I watched the whole thing.
I copied that entirely from SourceWave.
That's funny. That's funny. Because I actually was just watching the Becker video about ranking YouTube videos, how he's doing it, and copying somebody else's and putting it up there and getting the view stills. I just saw that the other day. I was like, damn, that's brilliant.
Well, my plan wasn't actually to scam people. It was like, I'm going to make this and I'm going to grow into this character. But I quit after a month, so that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, he has something going too where he's making the image and the way that it's shot, if you do it identical to it. Like, I mean, if you do it on a video that's getting 1 million hits, he's literally getting like at least 500,000 hits on these things. And it's just because they literally make the letters like the same on the front and the way he's standing the same. Like it's, I don't know. I don't get that guy sometimes, but no, it's so good.
It's an interesting one. I would love to meet him though.
I'll send you this whole thing. It's gonna chop up. You can just kind of chop it up how you want. So you can, you can put it over the top of your screen, right? Like you have the ability to take like 2 tracks together.
Yeah. Okay, using Movie Maker. Okay.
Yeah, anything.
That's what I'm gonna use.
You never know, man. You gotta remember. Like I'm sitting here, like I said, I don't know anybody else really out here that does any kind of digital marketing or SEO. Like I had my cousin out here with me for a little bit, and he went to New York, and he's working at a link sharing or whatever they do. I mean, I call it link begging, but they kind of cross transfer links to each other. So it's
yeah.
I'm used to talking to people about the walkthrough, just the Zoom portion, so you'll have to forgive me.
All right, cool. Awesome, Dana. Thank you so much. From our last chat, I think I really want to focus on, I don't know, what do you think? Because I think you're so high up, 14 years experience, that I think the audience you're going for, it's going to be at that level. It's really high up. But the people that I know, I'm going to share this with as well. And the people that are messaging me on Facebook after watching the videos, they're like really new. They're just asking me like, how do I get started? What does a cold call? They don't even know that they should be doing sales,
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm excited about it. Tell them, like I said, I'm down to help people all the time, man. So if those ones, I'm going to use this for too, is that I'm kind of excited. I've actually been putting like an ad out to try and get somebody to talk to, or like do some kind of something like this too, because I'm gonna actually send it out a little bit in a sales pitch. So like I've got a couple of people, like I've actually got a couple sites that I'm about to turn and sell right now. And this is kind of a big one that I got going, like the Oakland Dog Bite site that I have going right now. Is I started because I work with attorneys out here. That's my 2 biggest clients. Is I have the 2 biggest attorneys in Phoenix right now. That's actually one of the big reasons I left Yelp, is because I was, and it's funny because this is another sales story, like going along with the ability to sell or not to sell. Like you just gotta go with your gut and go with it. I got in some trouble about a year ago. And it was something that it was like I'm not gonna go on. I got a DUI quite some time ago, but I was kind of the lowest point that I'd been in a long time. So it was about 2 years right before I actually jumped out and kind of started the business again. But I was sitting in the attorney's office, and I'm talking to him, and I went and got a whole commission check, put it down on this guy, and every dime I had again, I was, even though I was making a ton of money over there in sales, it was still kind of a paycheck to paycheck thing. But I sit in his office, and we're sitting there talking, and of course, my favorite conversation is SEO and internet marketing, and he happened to know a little bit about it. And I start talking to him and talking to him and talking to him, and then I ended up turning it around. And by the time I walked out of there, we traded out my entire court case, which was about a $5,000 court case. And I've had a client for a year and a half now. So it was kind of sitting there, and I feel like the biggest loser out there, just kind of rock bottom, stomach's literally in my feet, and I'm at this guy's mercy. And then that sales ability that you kind of come up and you take advantage, not take advantage of the situation, but you find a way to put value into it. And
absolutely.
And then it worked out, and he's happy. I mean, he's actually got right now. He's one of my best ranking clients. I mean, I think he's got, last time I counted, it was about 200 Google Map listings right now, 3 packs.
Yeah.
But we crushed it up. Yeah, that was a fun one. So, like I said, he still works with me today. He's giving me a referral on my other one, and that's really what got everything sparking going. Like, I had the lead generation up and going for a little bit, but once I came out here, that was kind of the big push I needed. And it was sitting there in that chair that that salesperson comes out, and you really come in and close the deal. So
damn, cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have any tips for how to get that lead? Like how to actually cold call, because you have so much experience in cold calling.
Mm-hmm.
What's the quickest way to actually learn how to cold call? Is it just to do it?
Yeah, just to do it. I mean, like I was saying before about the fake Craigslist ad, that's no joke, man. Get somebody to talk with you on a phone and just make it natural. Like that's the one thing that a lot of people, they're going to go in there and they're trying to close the deal. My biggest thing that I'm an advocate of is listen. When you're trying to sell, you listen, because if you get them talking and hit a couple pain points, that's all you got to do is just find those things that make them want to talk about them, and those needs are going out, and they're going to keep telling you. And by the end of the conversation, you're going to have everything you need to close a deal. Whether with internet marketing, if you're closing something smaller, you're trying to do a couple $100 package, where it's not a big deal and they're not going to have to consult with partners, and it's not an entire year's salary for somebody as far as the program cost. It can go quick, but I mean, that first conversation literally should just be calling and talking to them. I like the 2 main things that I like to do on an open call, especially, and I do this every time. As I'm calling, I'll have 2 screens up. I'll have like an SEM rush or some kind of program where I can just do a checkup on their website real quick. I'll usually look at their Google Map listing and see if they're competing, and I'll see who's the big guy right around them. And I'll mention him, and I'll know that I want to mention him somewhere, but I'll find something that's wrong that I know that I can help them fix, or at least tell them how to fix on the call. A lot of people don't think giving away information or is something that you want to do on a sales call, or teaching them how to do it. But, at the end of the day, if you're calling a roofer and you're telling him something that you know is an easy fix, I mean, this guy is a master of his craft. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get the sale to go fix it for him. So I like to find one thing real wrong, and that's kind of why I call. Like, I'll start an open call, even sometimes telling him, I'm an expert in the industry. And every once a week, it's kind of a karma thing for me. I'll sit down and I'll pick up the phone and I'm calling local businesses where I found a couple little errors that if they tweak them and change them just a little bit, it's going to affect your revenue stream for the rest of the year. And I'll say that to an NDM, a DM, it doesn't matter, because it's the truth. You're going to help them, but you're also sparking a conversation. You're coming off as the expert. And I mean, that's the quickest way to get your foot in the door and start a relationship for a year. I mean, not just a one-time close. So that's a huge. I've always been big on that. It's always been my sales tactic: is bring value, find something that you can help them with. And if you can't, I mean, keep the phone ringing and say hi. You're just going to get used to getting told no,
So, what if we absolutely have, like no courage at all to pick up the phone? Mm-hmm. At that point, or like if we don't even know where do we get the numbers to call?
So find something that you're selling. It's the basis of the industry. So like, if you have, let's say that you can sell local SEO, like even if it's setting up, as simple as setting up somebody's Google Map account. Like, I just did this with a guy I was training to sell the other day, and he was actually going to sell some of my inbound leads for me. But I wanted him to outbound first, because if you outbound, you're going to get basically the guts, man. You got to grab that backbone, just go for it. Like, if you've ever stayed on the edge of a cliff, like jumping into a lake, and you just couldn't do it and turned around, I mean, the chances are the sales is going to be real difficult for you. Like, you got to just dive into it. So, yeah, I mean, the big thing is like the Google Map listings. Like, I mean, you can charge somebody $50 to $100, and if you go right now, like I like using like doing a car stereo ones, or something that's like a quick service industry where they're going to make about $150 a client. and do a search in your city. Like I'll type in right now, I'll type in Tempe car stereos. I'll pull up Google Maps, and I'll pull up the whole list. And as you scroll down, the first 10 or so are probably going to be claimed and look good. But then there's 20 other shops that haven't even gone in and done the letter process. They don't even have a picture on there of a stereo. Like it's all blank listings. And they're wondering why they're sitting there kind of hungry. So I called those guys first. And I literally just pinpoint. Like, hey, I was on Google Maps. I was on Google and I was calling stereo shops. I'm trying to find, I'm eventually going to get us some new subs for my car. But, I'm seeing you literally have nothing sitting here on Google Maps. What's wrong with you? Like, pop it out on them. I mean, you got to find the pain points. Sometimes they'll be offended. Sometimes they'll be caught off guard. Sometimes they'll laugh and be like, I know, man, I just don't know what I'm doing. It's like, I can honestly help you out. Like, give me a step or two, or I got a little package I put together. It's $150. I can come down there and talk to you. And I'll go ahead and get that letter in the mail, and I'll get the other two things around it so you can at least look like your competitors. So, I mean, find something to sell. Just mess with it. So it's all to each their own. Everybody's got their own style. I mean, some people are aggressive. Yeah. Others not. I mean, some people are car salesmen. Some people are, insurance salesmen. But at the end of the day, they're all salesmen. It's just a matter of finding you.
That's interesting. Yeah. I didn't have a lot of sales job, but I had 3. One was with TELUS. All of the sales job I had, the best people were the most aggressive. They were just more persistent. Yeah. And the thing that I found is I'm not an aggressive seller. That's never been my style. Like, I'm not going to sit there and just hound somebody to buy it. Because I know when I'm talking to them that if I'm selling you something, I know that, 1, you're going to get value out of it. And 2, you need it in the first place. And the only problem here is that you don't understand quite how bad you actually need it. It's true. Like, I'm aggressive in the sense that I don't give up. Like, as soon as before that phone's you go, I'm actually writing up the follow-up email while I'm talking to them sometimes. I'm not even recording the end of the call so they can hear themselves. And I'll tell them I've done that before. So I'll record what I'm saying. Like, do you realize you're not on Google? The one place people are actually looking for a tire shop. Like, where else are you going to find a tire shop right now? And then they'll say, no, I don't need it. And they record it as it's going and send it in a follow-up call. And say, I wanted you to hear this end of this call. I actually recorded it because I thought you'd find value in this. Just listen to yourself, not me. Oh my God. It might be that's fucking hilarious. How's their reaction when they hear that? It's different, man. I've never had somebody get mad at a tactic like that. They realize most of the time, a lot of times they'll laugh because I'm going to send it to them over and over again. If that's aggressive as being people don't really say no. But, I know I'm not sitting here selling in those things that clear off your headlights where it works for 6 hours. And as soon as you drive away with a $250 bottle of cleaner, your lights are already smogged again. It's not that. So if I was I can't sell something I don't believe in, but at the same time, I mean, it's sometimes it is persistence. Like, a lot of people don't have time to think about it. So, and then if they actually hear themselves say, I don't need to be on Google, like, they'll come up a little bit. And a lot of times they'll respect it. Sometimes you'll never get a call back, but either way, it's a numbers game. So, that's hilarious, man. What's the conversion for that? What's that? What's the conversion? Well, I'm kind of curious, like, how many people reply back hearing how they talk? Oh, it's good. I do it all the time, and I always try and pull something like that. Like, one thing is that my thing is when I actually do get on a sales call, like, a lot of times an open call, the goal isn't to close the deal. It's to talk about sales a little bit. It's to get the foot in the door. It's to get them knowing you're there. It's more of a discovery, find out if they actually need what you have. But no, once I actually get on the sales pitching portion of it, it's all I want to be the last thing they think about before they go to sleep. You can call that aggressive, but it's really it's a thought. I mean, a lot of people don't realize some of the things they miss out on. So whether it's even something as small as having like an email drip system behind an e-commerce store, or somebody signs up for a newsletter on your website and they have the sign up there, but they have nothing behind it and it goes nowhere. I see that all day long. It's like, did you know what you're doing to yourself and your client and how you look right now? So, yeah. That's a good topic as well. Like, it's so, even if you set up that capture for the emails, right? You still need to have that e-newsletter, to have that campaign going. Like, there's so much parts to digital marketing. What do you recommend for someone new to start learning that all? Or just the basic to get started to make money? If you're for like online? Online, offline. Offline's cool too. Entrepreneurship. Offline, shoot, man. Offline, the only thing you really sell offline right now, advertising wise, is insurance. I mean, no, I mean it's a thing
find something to sell. There's a million things. Like you can go online right now and go find a drop ship site. And I was just actually looking at, it's funny looking at bracelets,
Bracelets?
You can find them for 12 cents a piece and sell them for $2 if you want to. You just got to find the way to do it. I'm huge online. SEO is my thing. Like I literally can crush any search engine right now. Any algorithm, it doesn't matter what it is. And I know I can bring that to the table. That's why I'm an advocate of selling online, but I've also sold off. I know what it's like to be told no 1,000 times in 1,000 different ways. It's just, you find something and you keep going. Just to kind of practice with it and find something small. My suggestion is always the Google Maps thing. I mean, it's fair. It's open game right now. It's such a little thing. All the big companies are avoiding it. It comes with their packages as a side project, but it's never fully done right. Just, learn how to do a good little stack with the Google, YouTube and Google Plus and just the 5-6 things that can stack them together and give them enough to where they actually have their logo on the internet, and you can go through any industry and do that search right now and cold call and sell that. If not, cold call and sell something that doesn't exist. So,
okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about like really saturated industries like, graphic design?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we can still sell that and make a decent living with that?
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody needs graphic design. I literally have half my business is web design and graphic design. I still just hire a graphic designer sometimes. Yeah, no, it's just a matter of finding the way to sell it. So then kind of about like that's the neat thing about digital markets and selling now too is this. You can find anything. I mean, with the affiliate programs that are out there, you can go type in affiliate sites and you can find a way to drop ship those bracelets and put them on a website to where you're buying them for 12 cents and selling them for $1. And it's just, you find a way that you can automate it. A good case of that is there was a time when the business crashed for a little bit there. And when your paycheck literally depends on sales and you're the business owner, I mean, I had a week where the phone went out, right? So most people, if you're in sales and you're literally your entire lifeline and collecting money is on those sales,
yeah,
you just roll over and give up.
No.
You took away the ability to hunt, but instead, that's when I first got into sales funnel. I found a way that I didn't actually have to communicate with you on the phone. I switched to some sites around the sales funnels where somebody actually walked through the process and paid online, and then you never had to talk to them. And I sold that product. So find a way.
That's a really good point. Like, I think a lot of people give up, especially me. This is from experience. Mm-hmm. I gave up too early. I felt like over this years, I just got more persistent. What do you think about the mindset?
No, mindset's everything. I mean, like I said, that whole thing with the standing on the edge of the cliff, or there's somebody that's going to turn around or somebody that's going to jump. I mean, you've got to constantly be moving forward, especially with entrepreneurship. I mean, as well as I do. That's the thing. All entrepreneurship is trying to figure out how to fall gracefully.
I like that. How to fall gracefully.
Yeah, you just got to do it better and have a more cushion landing every time. So.
Damn.
No, it's fun though. You gotta love it. That's the thing. So that's the thing. It's sales is the same way. You gotta love the word no. Yeah. That's something they taught me at Yelp. Is like the goal isn't to sell deals here. It's literally to get told no. Because if you sit there and it's funny. It's because it's actually true. Like after a while, especially with phone sales and with email sales too, you know how many emails you have to send out before you're going to get a qualified lead. You know how many qualified leads you need to close a deal. It gets the same way with sales. Like you get to what's your batting average and you know how many outbound calls you need to make. And then if you turn it around and say you know how many no's you need to get before you're going to get a yes or you're going to get an appointment, then you're actually looking forward to getting that 12th no or that 20th no or that 50th no. Depends on how good you are or how far down the line. So, yeah, no, if you turn it around, it's a mindset.
That's so fucking true. That's absolutely it. The predictability, sales is pretty predictable, right? Like, it's a numbers game.
100%.
100%. Okay, and I think, like, a lot of people who are starting business, especially myself, like, there's this, you need to do it. You know that if you reach a certain number, you're going to get that sale, but you don't do it. Fear kicks in. How do you deal with that, Dana?
No, it's hard, man. There's times I don't want to wake up and pick up the phone, but you have to do it. So, I mean, it's either you're hungry for it or you're not, and you got to stay hungry. If you're looking for like outside sources, I'm a huge believer in outside sources. I mean, go find some motivation. You can literally put it on YouTube and find it. Like, there's freaking Gary Vee, Grant Cardone. I mean, E.T. the hip hop preacher. There's a million people you can just turn on and listen to one line. Respark your brain for at least 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah, at least 40 minutes. That's enough to bill in 20 calls if you get all now. So, And then you know what? There's something more there, and you got one yes coming up soon, and that's a little bit more to look forward to.
Yeah. Dan, do you read any books? Like, how do you spark your mind and educate and learn?
I used to read a ton. Now I've got the same book that I've been holding on to for like 6 months, but it's a timing thing now. I read a lot before the last probably 8 to 9 months. But the last 8 to 9 months, I went from having a real lucrative side project to having about 8 different businesses going at one time. So it's a time frame out there. I've actually just started downloading and listening to a lot of books. I've got the 4-hour work week right now that I've got basically playing over again. I've always had Think and Grow Rich downloaded on there. There's a lot of them that I do listen to, but a lot of stuff that I do right now is more towards informational based. Like I'm trying to continue learning as much as I can, just stay ahead of the competition because they have a lot more employees and capital than I do. So I got to make sure I'm at least smarter and quicker.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
what do you feel?
Go ahead.
What do you feel about No, sorry. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
No, I lost my train of thought. I said,
all right.
I've been on a good work streak, so.
I think I didn't forget mine. Let me see here. For these books you're reading, do you feel like how's it helping you and benefiting you?
Well, it did back in when I first started starting businesses. I mean, I got a lot of the ideas and the ability to figure out how to start a business. I mean, I never went to business school. I mean, I never even graduated high school. I dropped out as a 9th grade. It's those books that could teach you the different things of other people that are going on. So I read, like I said, a lot of the ones that I read back in the day were a lot of sales books because that's what I was good at and that's what I was doing. So I wanted to get better at it. Little Red Book of Sales was one of the first sales books that I grabbed onto, and I've literally worn through multiple copies of it. But I used to do a lot. Now it's like I said, it's mostly informational based. But when you're first starting a business, it's definitely crucial. I mean, what do you know about bookkeeping and taxing when you taxes and all the fun stuff when you're just starting out selling graphics,
True. That's true.
It's funny because one of my first businesses, I called it HT Graphics, and I was selling freelance graphics. Back when I dropped out of high school, I hot freight trains for a little while up and down the coast, and I was actually selling graphics business to business, basically to keep going and traveling.
My God, how old were you?
Oh man, that's young. How old were you in freshman year? Like
17, 18.
No, it's
high school, right?
Yeah, like 9th grade, first year, 9th grade. So it was like 13, 14?
Wait, 13, 14? You were 13?
14 or 15. I have to know. It's been a long time, man.
So let's just get a recap here. You were selling graphic design to survive at 14.
Not to survive. And I actually went, it's a funny story. I went with a group of guys. We decided to go up and down the country in my boxcar. So going up and down, and we actually went on a traveling, kind of like some people do their backpacking thing.
Damn, that's really smart, actually.
Yeah,
super smart.
So they were all doing like the whole thing, like they went within kind of flow the signs and the begging and that type of thing. And I actually had the ability to still sell back then, and would go and I know somebody, if you walk into a couple businesses, somebody needs a new logo or a new business card design. So.
And where did that come from? Just like having that knowledge to sell at 14. You can say it's natural as well.
It's not natural. Sales isn't natural. I don't care what anybody tells you. No, it's
more like this.
It's the whole entrepreneur thing. The family, like I said, my whole family, owning the publications, my grandpa being in car sales. I mean, I've literally been around salespeople forever. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it was always the same thing. I mean, my mom owned a publication for a long time growing up, and she was always top sales. And was always out there bringing in the revenue on the company. So, I get to be around that the whole time.
Okay. Damn, that's good. Yeah. So, with your sales background and marketing background, do you think, like, marketing and sales is, if you were to be an entrepreneur, like a serial entrepreneur, do you think that marketing and sales is that foundation for business?
No, yeah. You can't. I mean, honestly, any person that owns a business is going to tell you that 90% of it is sales. Even if they're sitting in the back office, they're selling something. If it's the guy walking in selling them staples or copy paper, they're trying to sell a better deal out of it. So everything in business is sales, and everything in business is marketing. So, I mean, it really down to owning. If you're a sandwich artist and that's your thing, and you own a sandwich shop, I mean, Literally, you've got to market and brand that sandwich, and then you've got to sell it properly to the customer to get the upgrades and the extras. So every business, regardless, you've got to know how to sell. Otherwise, you're going to get hungry. So.
But especially if you dive deeper, like if, a sandwich, you can switch it out for anything else, but how would you start a sandwich business, like right now, with your ability and marketing sales skill?
I'd probably just run a fake Craigslist ad.
Sandwich for sales.
Sandwich for sales, right there. Yeah, no, I don't know. I would never start a restaurant. I don't even know what you're talking about. But yeah, no, I'd probably start by making a sandwich.
To be honest, that wouldn't work. Like you cater sandwich and it'll work.
No, delivery only.
Let's break it down. Like, sorry, I think when I started out, I think this is like more important for me. But when I started out, like I didn't know that it was a numbers game. And then, how you said posting a Craigslist ad? If you really think about it, if you do post enough Craigslist ad, someone is going to, order your catering service for sandwich.
Oh, yeah. You're going to at least get calls and inquiries, and you're going to learn how to talk to people about sandwiches, Like, you might be starting a sandwich business and never talk to somebody about a sandwich in your life. You just, really like the tuna that you make. And it's a matter of figuring out what they like now.
I want to ask you a question about Yelp as well, like for phone. Like, I find this, like, the one thing that really switched my mentality after doing Craigslist ads, after doing Facebook, after doing cold calling and, like, going door to door, I realized that I could have succeeded at all of them if I put in more effort in the numbers game.
Yeah.
And, you're the top performer at Yelp. And I want to ask you, like, when you're training, or if you did train, I'm assuming you did train. Absolutely. Okay, cool. When you're training these new people, like, what do you see the difference between those who succeed and those who don't? Like, effort, putting in more numbers?
Yeah, I mean, if you're terrible at sales, I mean, here's the thing: there's a lot of people just suck at it. Some people can't talk to people. Some people couldn't sell their way to a paper bag, but that doesn't mean they can't make money at it. That's the thing about this industry, or any industry really, is if it's with sales, if you can figure out you got the product and there is a hungry market for it, it's just you in the middle of it. You're gonna figure it out, because especially if it's a numbers game. I mean, if you're bad at it, then you just need to work 3 times harder than the person that's good at it.
Yeah, that's true.
If there is a 1 to 20 close and yours is a 1 to 60, you just got to make those 3 times the amount of calls, and you're going to have the same paycheck that he does.
Absolutely. Make up a number what you lack in skill.
What's that?
Make up in numbers what you lack in skills.
Absolutely, and effort. I mean, I'm big on that. Like I said, I'll work sometimes for 72 hours straight just because I know that they've got my competition's probably got an army in India right now of 100 plus VAs that are just going nuts all the time, and it's me and my 2. So if there's somebody that I'm going against and I need to get my client above, I mean, there's 3-4 day stretches in there sometimes, and then you sleep it off for 2 days and you walk away winning.
Damn, I love that.
Stop.
That's awesome. I love how strategy is. It's like, once you actually know your business model, and I think once you got a few sales, then you know the system. It becomes kind of like, did you play any real-time strategy games or?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, I was selling and working from a young age. I didn't play too much games.
That's true. I mean, this is your game.
Poker. I've been playing poker since I was really young. Like, I remember my grandpa teaching me while I was still, I could have easily been in diapers. I don't know if I remember that far back, but he's laying out the cards in front of me. So I've always played poker, and that's a huge strategy game. But luckily for me, it's also a game of, it's not. I don't ever consider it gambling. Because I'm not going and putting money into a casino or betting against a house and hoping luck gets it. I'm actually able to know that my skill has got to be better than the guy across from me, and I'm betting on myself. And if I bet on myself, I'm always going to win. I'm not going to lose. That's why it's not stock markets aren't for me. I mean, business is for me, and building building empires and going into the SEO markets and building lead generation. Just because I know that if I take any money that I'm making off the top and put it back in to myself, that it's not gambling.
Absolutely. And if you reinvest, like, I find it kind of weird, like, if you can answer this, there seems to be like this, why are people selling like stock markets and like investing in the stock when business gives you such more, control of your life and ROI?
In my opinion, I think it's bigger numbers quicker. Like, don't get me wrong, I know people that are really good at the stock market. One of my closest friends, Rico, we call him, Black Wall Street over there. He's insane. He works at Wells Fargo. I mean, just his just his 401k that he plays with on a daily basis is probably 5 times the size of anybody else's over there. It's just because he's good at it. It's a matter of reading the up and downs there. And in my opinion, explaining it, it's a matter of he's reading the algorithms of the business and what it's doing. And he's gotten so good at that is investing in himself. Not everybody else is like that, though, because they see somebody like him that's, sitting on 80K and just a 401k that started at 5. They see quick money and they want to try and jump into it. And I think that quick money is what's got people, and not necessarily thinking that he's an expert. He's betting on himself. He's not betting on the market.
That's absolutely true.
So
he built that skill, right? Like he read candle charts and he knows all the metrics for it.
Yeah, buy low, or buy out. I
don't know. I'm not even gonna touch that.
Yeah, it's not somewhere. It's just not for me.
Interesting. Like, I find that like a lot of people we'll just say it, like the 95%, the majority, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their mindset is so different. Like I'm when I grew up, entrepreneurship wasn't that, and I know this is kind of weird. It's like only 3 years ago, but it's that huge difference. Within 3 years, entrepreneurship became this amazing, cool thing. Before that, I was considered like, oh, this retard. He dropped out of high school and he wants to be an entrepreneur. Like, what the fuck happened? In a few years.
In my opinion, that you're right with the 95% thing, is that in 3 more years, there's going to be a lot of failed entrepreneurs. Is the one thing that you think about is that, sure, anybody can sell and make a living, right? It's a number. Being an entrepreneur and a business owner, isn't it? I mean, you've got to be able to push yourself off and be able to push yourself forward, because you're right. There is times where you just don't want to call anymore. And if you can't get over those hurdles, if you don't got it, you can look somebody in the eye and know when you're talking to them if there's somebody that's going to, if there's somebody that's going to cower under the desk, or if there's somebody that's going to run forward when stuff hits the fan. I don't know if that makes sense. But it does take that, because it's constantly things are going wrong and the pivoting. It's not everybody has it. Everybody wants it. But I mean, there's a lot of other ways to go out there and get rich and make money. It's not for everybody.
That's true. I guess there's a certain skill set, like sales and marketing.
Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody should have, even if you're the worst business owner ever, which I honestly consider myself the worst business owner ever. Honestly, I have there's so many things in business that I don't understand or comprehend. But the thing that you got to figure out is you find what you're bad at, and you don't capitalize on it. You just figure out how to get over it. I mean, if you're bad at bookkeeping and balancing, it's not that expensive to get a free software and then somebody to balance your books. There's ways that you can make enough money to pay other people to do what you're bad at.
Gotcha.
But right, I think you're going to struggle being bad at that for a while, and it's going to hurt.
It's going to suck for a while.
Yeah.
It takes so long to get that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any tips for speeding that up?
Yeah, swing for the fences. That's my biggest thing. And fake it. The full fake it till you make it strategy is not a joke. I mean, I've literally walked in and closed a $9,000 deal and walked out with a check that said $9,000 on it, when my lowest or the highest package I'd sold before that was $500. I mean, you go in and try. Find something that you think you can do and go for it, man. I'm not going to. A lot of times I'll throw that number out at people all the time, and they don't blink at it, and then that becomes a constant. I know my time's worth that, but you got to be able to also know your time's worth that. So I know what I'm going to do is bring them more money than that. But I mean, that goes with sales too. I mean, it's a big thing is, again, that jumping off the cliff or not.
One other thing I really like about you, Dana, that was more of a sales. I don't know why I said that. One other thing that I think is very cool is that your confidence. And I think that a lot of salespeople, they have that. You maintain that confidence. How do you bring up your confidence and just do whatever it fucking takes? Have that mentality.
Yeah, no, you gotta have that. You have it. Some people don't, though. You'd be surprised. I mean, I've met people that crush deals and own businesses that are the most secluded people ever. I know guys that build $1 million sales funnels that don't leave their basements. You're right. With open sales, if you want to go close big deals, yeah, you've literally got to have those. You got to go forward, man, and go for it. So a big thing, taking risks too is a big portion of it. So go take some risk and try.
Last question.
What's going to happen?
That's true. You don't know if you don't try. Last question would be university. You dropped out of high school. I did as well. What do you feel about university? Going to university, the benefit of going versus not?
Yeah, I've had a lot of times where I reflected back on it, but at the same time, no. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't my thing. I mean, school, it wasn't. That wasn't for me. So I wanted to start businesses, make money, and help people, and I wasn't able to do it there. I learned that real quick.
Why wasn't school for you though? I'm just curious. Why wasn't school for you?
I mean, it goes with the whole hard-headed mentality and the wanting to constantly move forward. You know, I think everyone that young and stuck in one place is not going to do it. I mean, that was funny. I was just thinking the other day. I remember sitting in like detention and looking up at a sign that said, what was it? It's finding optimism in failure is actually success. And it was one of those like black paintings with the guy hanging out the cliff, like the motivational ones. And I just remember being young, just like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. And like realizing that's actually kind of the whole motivation for getting out of there and starting in the first place.
That was your cue for like dropping out of high school?
Yeah, that was it. That motivational poster did it for me.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. I was on Google and I searched up one of Steve Jobs' quotes. I forgot which one it was, but that inspired me to drop out as well.
Yeah, no, it's weird. I say that all the time. Like, why'd you drop out? I've said this multiple times. A motivational poster did it. So.
Yeah, and I don't know if you relate to this, but I remember being in elementary school and just looking over at my friend. You know, we're just like 8 or 9 at the time. And I remember going back from recess and looking at that school. I was like, dude, that's like prison.
Yeah. I used to call it that when I was younger too. My school was like the junior high I went to was actually pink. They call it the pink prison out in the house.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. It's the other thing too with like my mentality at least. It's just like the kind of almost the authority thing. I hate to say it like this, but I can't work at a 9 to 5 either, just based on the fact that I can't have somebody telling me like that what to do when I know I can figure out a way to do it better.
Absolutely. Did you find it hard working for other people when you did?
Oh yeah. That's why I stuck with sales all the time, because that was one good thing. Like no matter where you're at, whether you're in a big corporation like Yelp or you're selling fake timesheets, it's as long as you figure out a way to be the best at it, usually the people will just leave you alone and you just keep making your own money. So.
No, it's true. Absolutely. All right, cool, man. Thank you so much, Dana.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do for the rest of the day?
I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna try and sell this Oakland dog bite site today. I've got I had a VA scrape me up a list of every attorney in San Francisco and Oakland, and I shot them all a couple emails. I've got some videos done, kind of showing, but it's ranking so hard right now. Like it's insane, man. I've got this YouTube stack together with a big push behind it. Yeah, and I got it ranked to number 1 for everything right now. So I'm working on some ranked things or some new software I'm looking at right now too. So that's always fun.
Man, you love what you're doing. Every time I'm talking to you, you're always like SEO or client getting.
No, dang, man. If I can go, I mean, that's the thing you think about. Like, is I am an entrepreneur, right? And I love business, but I picked marketing and advertising because it's the same thing with the whole can you sit in school thing. It's like, no. Like, hey, could I sit in one business? Could I open a sandwich shop and sit there and make sandwiches for the next 10 years? Absolutely not. I probably couldn't do it for the week. But I think figure out a way to make it profitable. Like, I have the ability now to be able to walk into so many different industries. Like, technically I own a moving company, I own a tint company, I own a cleaning company, I own so many different things. And then at the same time, I'm representing and working next to some of the biggest attorneys in Phoenix. And I've got my newest client is one of my favorite. I got an e-commerce site out in Florida that's literally selling barbecues. Like full-size, built-in barbecues, like $6,000-$7,000 a pop, and most people don't even think that you could sell them over the internet to somebody in Georgia, from this Florida. But we figured it out. I saw they had 1 or 2 competitors, and we went nuts. And I mean, I think we sold. They went from selling maybe like 1 every couple of weeks to the first week we were on it, or first month we were on it, we went through 7 of the things. So it's the ability to be able to pivot all the time to different things. So.
Do you feel like you're going to be like, how Gary Vaynerchuk is like doing his agency and then he's going to run through some product through the Gary machine, the Vaynerchuk machine? Like, is that what do you feel like in the future you're going to start your business as well and use the marketing skill to back that?
Yeah, I mean, technically, like at the time, like one of the things I started with lead generation that I have is like a set of carpet cleaning companies. And, I went in and tried it in different ways. I tried it one way being a lead generation system. And then I went into the next one and I found a guy that was doing it by himself and he loved carpet cleaning. He was fantastic at it. I had a funnel already built up, so I started putting it on him and eventually come in and partner up that company. And then I own a portion of that company. And then, I own one. I got a lead generation going over here so I can test the different methods. But, owning in the service industry wasn't really that great. I've actually restructured that whole thing recently. It's just there's a lot of different things going on with it, and it's constantly changing. So, when you can go from an e-commerce site and drop ship bracelets to drop shipping full-size barbecues, there's a lot of opportunity.
All right, cool, man. Thank you so much, Dana. Maybe just like one question for myself now. You'd be a little bit selfish, if that's cool.
Go for it.
We don't have to include this in the recording. You can say whatever.
No, you're good.
But yeah, like for me, just sending out these cold emails. I'm doing cold calls as well soon. After. But what do you think? Like, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, learning this marketing, learning the sales skills?
Yeah.
Do you think I'll be, good, like later on, to position myself to open up like other businesses?
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah, go for it.
So I think cold emailing, the way that it's being done right now in mass bulk and shooting off the way it is, I think it's similar to literally direct mail, which for a long time it did really well. And as of right now, it's got a 0.02% ROI or return rate. I mean, that's from the census. U.S. Census can tell you that. I think that most people, like I literally have 6 different emails connected to my cell phone right now. I've got literally my little bubble above my email says 1,022. That's how many emails I got sitting there that are unread. Most of them are because I have so many different dashboards and things like that, but I'm not that different than everybody else out there. But at the same time, I see the titles, and I do go back and open some of them. And I think just the way to do it is it needs to be more a personal approach put onto that, and I think it'd be perfect. And kind of what I mean by that is going in and how we talked about that first time, where you just changed it up and talked about the other person down the street and brought a little bit of pain into it and brought a little personality. And it changes the way if they do open it and they see it. Now, if you send a second email, that's literally a video. So here's I'm going to give you my marketing approach that closed the deal. Like, they closed that barbecue deal. It's actually, I'm closing the deal that I'm closing tonight. I believe the guy I'm walking away with about an $8,000 startup check just as a retainer. And how I did it was real simple. Like, I smelled a little bit of blood in the water on the situation that they were bleeding. There's something wrong there. I did send a cold email, and I did a call kind of just real quick to introduce myself. They hung up on me on the spot, but then what I did is I turned my Zoom on, I went to their website, and I ran it through all my dashboards, and I did a complete walkthrough of everything that was absolutely ass backwards about it, and I did not you don't hold back. I mean, let them know how wrong it is, but find out show them the competitor that's doing it right in an email. So if you do a couple cold ones and you see the ones that are open and there's interaction and life on the other side of it, and then you shoot some life over there, I mean, the next email says, look, this is a video of your website that I just took. You see what's wrong with it? That's what the title says. They open it up, they push play, and I'm dissecting their website. It's the same thing with graphics. Like, you can literally go and build them a brand new ad that looks just badass, right? Yeah. And then you find their ad, and you have them open the email, and it's a picture of their ad compared to your ad, and say, which would you rather? I mean, bring some pain to it, but personalize the damn thing. Don't make it a million just cold emails. Nobody's gonna respond to that.
Absolutely.
If you feel lefty on the other line, man, or they're on the other side, that's blood in the water. Find out a way to hit them. Like I told you at the beginning, the biggest thing is to try and make it, if you actually do get the sale and do get the connection, or at least get to talk to them, and then the business owner, try and make yourself the last thing they think about before they go to sleep. Find that pain point in their business where it's bleeding, and position yourself as the way to close it.
Damn, that's good. I like what you're saying. I wish you were my sales trainer back then. All right, man. I think that's good. You're really experienced, man. I'm serious. Like, you're definitely one of the top salespeople I've ever talked to.
Yeah, I've been selling for a long time, man. That's one thing you got it. Like I said, with the whole entrepreneur thing, you bring the sales to the table, and it's usually a done deal. You can literally do anything from sandwiches to
coconuts.
Just start with a fake Craigslist ad and go from there.
All right, cool, man. Thank you so much, Dana.
Yeah,
all right. Hope you have a killer day.
Yeah, call me anytime, Jason. Right?
Absolutely. I'm just busy. Well, lazy, but trying to be busy. Oh my God, it's hard.
When you cut this up, you need anything else, or you think there's something that would benefit to it? Like I said, I do want to kind of use it as a selling point myself. Go ahead and let me know. We can redo a couple parts or whatever you think. I'll leave it up to you, all right?
All right, cool. I think we can make more if you want. Make more crab cages in the sea.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's start something too. Maybe we can put out a couple different things where we talk specifically to startup. I like the idea of coming back, and I'm like, because what I was originally thinking, and I got a guy that I'm going to try it with too, is he owns a hookah shop and a vape shop, and he's owned it for a while now, but he's a real smart guy when it comes to like direct business and numbers and being the accountant whole portion of it, and I'm the complete opposite. I'm the guy that's going to invest every penny and know that I'm going to sell $10,000 tomorrow to replace it all. So it's, we're going to kind of butt heads a little bit on that one, but kind of the complete opposite spectrum. It's, bringing it back to basics and starting. Because, technically I'm starting, I consider myself a startup every day if there's something new going on. I just completely turned those tint businesses around, and right now I'm going to plug in a rank and rent site into them and just see how it works. If it frees up less of my time off the phone selling and still makes at least 50% of the money, it's profitable. So that's a whole new venture right now.
Awesome, man. How many VAs do you have, by the way? Like right now helping you out?
I have 3 that are real close, 2 that I've had for at least a year. I got 1 brand new one, and mostly I've got 1 that's just like the right-hand man, and he's awesome. And I got my 2 PBM guys that I found that I lucked out on, because they're storytellers, and they're fantastic at writing.
Do you think we should outsource like immediately?
I would outsource everything I could. I've actually started designing my new sales for SEO for any program, and you should do it too. Like I had actually had my dad come out and work with me for a little while, and I learned this whole aspect from him, because he's a business owner and entrepreneur himself too. He always has been, but he's an electrical contractor at the same time.
Oh, really?
So he kind of came in. He brought what I was doing, where it was just kind of like the Wild West and slinging out and selling and living off that and going away, throwing out all at a wall and seeing what sticks. And brought it down to, when you look at a client, you look at it as billable hours, and that's how you expand yourself out there. So if I look at a job and I know that it's going to take at least 30 hours that month to get it done, I know that they need to do this Google stack. I know we need somebody backlinking this many backlinks, and then I take that and I divide it into how many VAs it would take to do that job, and at what price, and you basically do it all out almost like it's like you're a foreman and looking at building. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, he brought that to the table, man. I learned that just recently, and it's kind of changed a lot. That's where a lot of the pivot came from, out of everything I've done before to now. So, and the big thing too is that really stuck is the fact that once everything's paid for, the business, even after you're paid, your hours are paid, the business needs to walk away with 40%. So you need to figure out a way, and VA's got a way to go. I'm not gonna lie. Like, my guys love what they make. They're all extremely happy, and my business is flourishing. Like, I treat them really, really good though. So.
Where are they from, and how much are you paying them per hour?
I got 2 of them are from Indonesia, one's from India, and then one's that's on and off is from Bangladesh. Because it's my SEO they're selling. I want to be the person that touches basically every person that comes through. So I'm doing quantity, not quality on mine. I mean, I'm not looking to bring on $100 accounts. I'll just do the $100,000 account. It's just. So what I'm doing is I have my salespeople actually out there grinding it out. They throw the lead back, I close the deal, and I'm giving them a huge commission for just doing that. Just warming the lead up enough to where they're ready to talk to me and know who I am. So that's been a good one. Like I mean, a deal that I just closed the other day was literally, I handed a sales guy $2,000 just to get an appointment up because he did it correctly, and I closed the deal exactly that. So, and he's also going to get some residual off it continually too. So. It's not that the salary, it's like you're just getting a salary. You're also, if you can keep these clients on and you be the customer service behind my SEO, and you keep them paying every month and upgrading, every month they pay, you're going to get a small piece of that too. So you build up 10 of those, and I mean, you've got a $50K salary just sitting there.
Yeah, that's incredible. Damn. Do you feel like making $10,000 a month within a year is like very possible for someone starting out?
Oh yeah, I went to $10,000 a month within the first 3 months of working at Yelp. Right? So over to you too, okay?
All right, sounds good. Have a good day, man.